Friends, welcome to my workplace at Ranaghat, West Bengal, India. This is a post-uveitic cataract. There are posterior synechiae in many places. Let us observe this surgery. This is the main incision with a 2.8 mm steel keratom at 11 o'clock, and this is a side port at 2 o'clock. And now an air bubble is injected. The antechamber is filled up with the air bubble, and then trypan blue dye is applied over the anterior capsule and behind the iris. This is a bit of adrenaline, though the adrenaline didn't work in this case. The dye is washed out with BSS, and now the antechamber is filled up with 2% hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. Now I'm making some stab incisions. This is at 9:30 o'clock, this is at 1 o'clock, this stab incision is at 7 o'clock, and one more stab incision at 3:30 o'clock. So 4 stab incisions to place iris hooks. In this case, I decided to use iris hooks instead of a pupil expansion ring device. This is the first hook being placed at 1 o'clock. Here goes the second iris retractor at 9:30 o'clock. While hooking the pupillary margin, care is taken not to injure the anterior capsule. And now, here goes the third iris hook at 7 o'clock. In this case, the antechamber is very shallow and the iris is extremely floppy, and here goes the fourth iris hook. At 3:30 o'clock, the silicone guard has been retracted. The pupillary margin is hooked, the hook is pulled, and the silicone guard is advanced. In this case, the iris is extremely floppy, and I didn't want to use a pupil expansion device. And now some more visco and capsular access. The anticapsule has been incised, the capsular tag has been raised. And now I use a Utrata forceps, hold this capsular tag, go anti-clockwise and do an adequate sized capsular access. This is a fair amount of red glow in this case. And now hydro dissection is done, and the nucleus is mobilized a bit. And now visco is used to fill up the antechamber, and then here goes the tip of the phaco needle. Must go bevel down, and it must gently slide over the iris. And now emulsifying, just shaving off some anterior cortical lens matter and anterior part of the capsule to get some space, because the antechamber is very shallow in this case. And now direct chop. The tip is buried in the substance of the nucleus, and this is the first job. And now my plan is to emulsify small bits, chop a small portion and emulsify that piece. In this strategy I am managing this heminucleus, and it is done. Now I rotate the other heminucleus, again chop it into small pieces, and that piece is emulsified immediately. This is a nice strategy because in this way you don't allow the pieces to move here and there. You don't allow the pieces to go up and hit the corneal endothelium. The nucleus is being managed by the Phaco 3 mode, where the vacuum is less, or 250, flow rate is 25. Nucleus has been managed by 400 mm of mercury vacuum and 40 flow rate. After cortical cleanup, the antechamber and capsular bag is filled up with 2% HPMC. Now, before implanting the intraocular lens, I am going to remove one iris hook so that the haptic of the intraocular lens doesn't push the iris. And now there is enough space. The intraocular lens will easily go over the iris. It will not push the iris, and it will not cause any injury to the iris. I've released the on-clock side port a bit, and now here goes the intraocular lens. The intraocular lens, the leading haptic goes in the capsular bag, and the trailing haptic also goes into the capsular bag. And some more visco. The lens is dialed to place the haptics properly. Some more visco, and now the iris hooks, 3 remaining hooks are to be removed. The silicone guard is retracted backward, and the hook is advanced and then removed. So we are towards the end of the case. After removing the hooks, the viscoelastic substance is nicely cleaned and the case looks like this. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope this video will help you in your practice.